Welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras. The Delaware Hispanic Commission is really focused on enriching the Hispanics here within Delaware. I have joining us right now Mary DuPont and Laura Gendreau. Welcome to the show. So we're really going to get into this segment, what the Delaware Hispanic Commission is, how they're enriching the lives of Hispanics, they're connecting them to resources. This is a commission that was formulated a couple years ago, but I love the fact that it's really keying in on providing awareness to Hispanics here in Delaware and what is here for them. So let's just dig into a little bit about that. Can you give me a little bit of the history and why the commission was formed?
Well, the Delaware Hispanic Commission was a governor-appointed commission that was formed approximately, I think, 8 years ago. The real purpose for it is to advocate, to educate and advocate on the needs of the Latinos within the state of Delaware, not only in regards to what is going on as far as on a national platform, but specifically the needs and desires and priorities of the Latinos within the state. And I think that the DHC does an excellent job of aligning and cultivating relationships with government officials, nonprofit organizations, businesses, and the community at large, and providing and identifying some of the critical issues that Latinos in the state are facing.
Right. And one thing that I really admire about the commission, not only the fact that it was formulated because there was a need within our demographic to have such a commission, but also that it's community leaders come together, everyone's volunteering, really bringing all their efforts and resources together. So let's talk a little bit about that before we dive into the Latino Summit that's coming up. But the two of you are actually part of the Stand By Me program as well here in Delaware. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, Stand By Me is a joint project of the state of Delaware and the United Way. Okay. And we both work for Stand By Me, and we're headquartered at the Department of Health and Social Services. So the program was started under the Markell administration because he was really interested in financial inclusion for all Delawareans and financial stability. And the program really took off and exploded because so many people are so interested in learning more about their credit, paying down debt, establishing savings, buying homes. I mean, all of us have financial goals, and sometimes it just feels like it's overwhelming. Where do I begin? And what we offer with Stand By Me is personal financial coaching. Mm-hmm. So it's one-on-one support. You don't have to raise your hand in a classroom and say, I have a 500 credit score, what do I do about that? You can work in a very private and confidential way with a personal financial coach and establish and work on any goal that you may have. And we have no income guidelines. It's for all Delawareans. And since it started 7 years ago, we've helped well over 20,000 people with coaching.
Wonderful. And the one thing that I love about it too is for those who aren't from this country or weren't born and raised here, it's really giving them the education in regards to what they need to know as opposed to going to an institution or university. It's letting them know about the style, how America does things here, the importance of getting a credit card or having a bank, things of that nature, having a car so you can transport from one place to another, and the importance on how you can get that and be an owner as opposed to renting one or leasing one. This kind of information is really important.
Exactly. The way that we implement the program is we identify key partners who are working with constituencies that we really want to reach. Okay. So one of our major partners is the Delaware Hispanic Commission.
Yes.
And that's how I got involved, even though I'm not a Latina. I guess I'm sort of like the honorary member, non-Latina on the commission. But Stand By Me is really dedicated to working with the Latino community. So for the same exact reasons that you just said. And so we started sort of a spin-off program called Stand By Me Hispano.
Yes.
And we partner with LACC and the commission. And we also work with the Department of Adult Ed so that the program is embedded into ESL classes. It's available to the community through LACC. We have 2 full-time coaches there. And we work with the commission to make sure that we're really focused on the financial priorities for the community.
Yes, and I love the program because not only all those aspects, but the coach can really sit down with you, do measurables, is what I like to call them. See how much money you're bringing in, how much money is coming out of your pocket, where you're spending it, if it's on the necessities or if it's on leisure things, and it really helps to manage your debt in regards to putting everything on a piece of paper and learning, you know, we can get to your ultimate goal. If you want to get debt free, we can get there, but these are the ways how we can manage that. And people have been successful, like you said, through the program. It's like a lifetime goal that you finally fulfilled, and for some of these people at a young age, and that's amazing in itself.
Well, I think that, you know, Mary is the Director of Financial Empowerment. She is, Stand By Me was her brainchild, and she's done an incredible job of identifying niche communities and those needs, especially underserved communities. So I think Stand By Me is unique in the fact that we have a program specifically tailored for families within Head Start programs throughout the state of Delaware. We have a program for, you know, for Stand By Me Hispano, for those needs, and those needs may be different than the needs of families from Head Start. I manage a program for individuals who are interested in first-time home ownership, because, you know, those are, in order to become mortgage ready and go through that complicated process of purchasing a home. It's a very, you know, complicated process.
And stressful too.
And stressful.
If you don't know what you're doing, especially.
You know, we have Stand By Me Negocios that work specifically with the DHC, and that helps to promote Latino businesses and ownerships and entrepreneurships throughout the state, specifically with Latino-based businesses. So the DHC is very much involved in supporting that program throughout the entire state. So I think that, you know, in addition to, you know, Mary's vision of Stand By Me, she's done an excellent job of identifying those at-risk communities, the niche communities, but we also have bilingual, bicultural staff. So to be able to have representation, you know, coaches that speak English and Spanish, and are able to not only educate but translate and also provide this information in their own native tongue, I think it's a critical component of Stand By Me.
That's very important, where some people get the misunderstanding sometimes with the Hispanic community is a dialect. Unfortunately, some of us cannot like really read Spanish or write in Spanish, right? Like I remember when I used to work down in Georgetown area, it was amazing to me how you could pass a pamphlet and they wouldn't even know what they're reading, and not because they can't read, but because they're from a different dialect. Not all Hispanics speak the same Spanish, as I would like to say.
Exactly.
So the goal here is that you have the dialect and you're able to speak to them in their language and reach them where they can be met, and that's wonderful. So now that Stand By Me is just one of many organizations that's working with Delaware Hispanic Commission, what does that look like? What is the goal and mission of this commission?
Well, the goal is, as Laura said, to really understand and zoom in on what are the priorities for Latinos in Delaware, or what are the opportunities for Latinos in Delaware. And what can the commission do to bring a voice to that, and to make sure that we're working with all of the key stakeholders and elevating those issues so that everybody understands. And also, what is Latino culture? The upcoming summit on October 30th at the Chase Center will feature all of that. We're going to be talking about funding for English language learners, which unfortunately we don't have any in Delaware. So it's difficult when a child goes to school and is new in that school, maybe coming from another country and doesn't speak English. There isn't funding for special programming to help the child in the classroom. So the commission has taken a position as really advocating. You know, of course, that means spending more money, and we all know about how hard it is to get bills passed and to allocate funding through the legislature, but it's really a critical need. So the commission is taking a position, and we'll have a whole segment at the summit on that.
And are the resources free for those who are trying to learn English? If they wanted to participate?
Yes, yes, at the summit or in the schools.
In the schools?
In the schools, yes, when it's funded through the Department of Education.
Okay.
Then kids would have like a special program for English language learners.
Okay.
But most states do that, but Delaware being a very small state is still working towards that goal, but we're not quite there yet. So that's a goal that the commission is really advocating for, because we've made a lot of progress over the past couple of years, but we're getting closer, but we're not quite there yet. Also, another goal at the summit is to talk about entrepreneurship.
Yes.
I mean, Latinos are very entrepreneurial.
Yes, we are.
And maybe that's because in the many different countries that Latinos come from, you have to start a business. Maybe it's not as easy to go get a job, at the city or at the state or at JP Morgan Chase or wherever. So people are resourceful, and they start businesses doing what they know how to do best. So there's going to be a whole segment on entrepreneurship. We're going to have a Latino marketplace featuring 26 Latino businesses who are going to be exhibiting, and you'll get to meet small business owners. We also are going to have artists and music and food.
Now, when you say music, is it music like hit play on your iPhone, or is it going to be a band?
There's going to be a band.
See, I like that.
There's going to be a band. There's going to be dancers. There's going to be artists. And so there's going to be a whole feature on Latino culture. So I love to travel, and so
I love bringing that type of culture in.
Yes, I'm very excited about that. And then we're also going to have a segment on advocacy and what are the issues. I mean, we hear about it all day long. What's going on in this country? Some scary stuff as it relates to Latinos. So there's going to be some focus on what are the political issues, how does that impact the Latino community, and what can Latinos do? Vote.
Right.
So there'll be a discussion about it. So it'll be a very well-rounded day, and we're really excited. Laura has been front and center in the organizing process.
Oh, that's
and
wonderful.
I've been helping out with the entrepreneurial side of it with our Stand By Me negocios.
And I'm so glad to see it in its 4th year. I was at the first 2, so it's amazing to see how much it's grown. It's definitely a necessity here in our community.
I think that, as much as Mary has told you about the summit, the other part of it is we're going to be discussing women's empowerment and development. I think that historically, we are not necessarily putting our in educating and also supporting women's development and empowering us. So I think that's a really big component of the summit as well. We have gone to great lengths to have an array of different businesses represented at the summit, and it's not just Latino-based businesses, but it's also businesses that are specifically trying to target Latinos as a potential marketing source. So I think the summit will provide a view of our culture, an opportunity to listen to our music, to see us and see the array of what our community, what our Latino community is, but it also allow non-Latinos to be part of an opportunity to really fully grasp who we are and what our goals and what we value as important.
And let's be clear here, like you said, this is not, it's the Hispanic Latino, it's the Latino Summit, but it's not just for Hispanics.
That's correct.
Everyone can, everyone, you can register. Like you said, if it's a business that you're trying to incorporate more Latinos within, this is definitely the event to be at.
Yes, so they can go up to you can Google the Delaware Latino Summit, and it will come right up. You can register right there online. We do have some specials coming up with registration, so people should be on the lookout for that.
Well, that's good. They still have time to get the specials.
They still have time to get the specials, and we invite everybody to participate. It's going to be an incredible day. We have an amazing keynote speaker who is Reverend Luis Cortez from La Esperanza in Philadelphia. We have a La Esperanza in Delaware, but this is a $40 million nonprofit that was founded and built and is now run by Reverend Cortez. And they have a school, and they do community development, housing. They provide social services. They are an all-encompassing, really one of America's greatest nonprofits. I mean, you don't hear about too many that
especially not in that bracket.
No.
It's really hard to get people just to fundraise for nonprofits.
Yeah.
So to see how he's been able to elevate that organization is major.
And help the Latino community in Philadelphia.
That's right.
Yes.
And the Latino Summit, one thing too about it is, although you have all these different sectors, the breakout sessions to me is like what's very valuable, because not only are you connecting with other community leaders and other people who just, parents maybe, caregivers who just want to know how they can tackle a certain issue, but you're breaking out into these small groups and you're identifying one of these topics, and everyone's coming together as a whole to really discuss what they see wrong and right with it.
Yes, when we were trying to decide what the breakout sessions were, it was critical for us to be able to really identify what are the needs, and what are the topics that we really need to address. And as Mary has already spoken about, the critical needs for EL students across the state of Delaware, it should be a priority, and it is an line item. And we really want to educate the importance of having this as a potential resource for our young students. So the EL student opportunity to really discuss this and elaborate on what the needs, I think it's going to be a critical component of the summit. But we're also identifying youth development and youth leadership and women's empowerment and development and the promotion of Latino-based businesses and entrepreneurship, and the political impact, as she has stated, and how we do have the opportunity to really have an impact on the political, arena that we currently find ourselves in.
Right, and the resources is so important. I was born and raised in New York, and Spanish was the only language that we were speaking. And it wasn't until we moved here to Delaware where we began to see the gap in people learning the English language or teaching the English language to Latinos who don't speak English at all. And then what you begin to see in the community is that the kids become the translators for the parents who never take the classes. Like I remember my parents exposing me to the resources to make sure that I went to tutoring to learn English, because we didn't have English as a second language when I came to Delaware. And so I just remember vividly going to tutoring for a year. It took me a year to learn English, and I actually had to repeat second grade because I just did not know the English language, and it was very imperative to my parents that I continued to move forward, to excel. And now this is my major, and first in the state of Delaware in a language that was not my first language at all. So this is very important to make sure.
Well, we're going to have to remember you and include you as a role model, because that's a great story. I mean, if kids don't get that support and that training when they're young, when they're so open, they can learn so well.
That's
When you teach a child, they can catch on like that. But you have to be able to teach them.
Exactly.
And your parents had that vision, and they were able to provide a tutor for you.
That's right.
And
that's very important.
Is very, very important. And it would have been an opportunity lost in your case. Was look at how you've blossomed in the great things that you're doing now.
Thank you. And I'm so happy that we're actually reaching out to other people within this community, in the Latino community, to let them know that it is possible. Because I do see the I don't want to say effortless, but it's just a lot of frustration when you just don't understand someone in their language and can't communicate, and just to learn it and try to that's like me sitting here trying to communicate something to you in French, and if you speak French, that frustration of just trying to bridge that gap, I can only imagine what one's going through in this country.
Yeah, yeah. So we hope that you're going to come this year.
I am going to be there this year. Yes, I am.
And bring your posse.
The WITN 22 crew who you can't see.
Yes. You're all invited.
Yes.
And we're very excited. We're gearing up. It's kind of the main topic of conversation.
Right. And one thing that they do here too, like the WITN 22 crew, they're very supportive of all different type of cultures. We've always had someone representative from every single culture here in the station. And so just to be able to show that unification and unity within our community, I think is major. And that's what you're going to find here at the Latino Summit on October 30th.
Yes.
So that is
we will be hosting it at the Chase Center, the Riverfront, and it is from 8 a.m. until 3 p.m. Registration can currently occur on DelawareHispanic.org.
Okay.
And instructions are very, very user-friendly. So we are hoping to continue to have individuals register and actively participate in the summit. So we're very excited, and we've all worked very hard to launch this, and I know that the DHC is a great organization and really is our voice for our community.
It definitely is, and thank you to former Governor Jack Merkel for making sure.
Well, and also to Governor Carney.
Who's continuing the
Yes,
efforts.
to
That's
Governor
major.
Carney.
Yes.
Yes, we're very lucky that we live in a state where we don't have a lot of political strife, where we
No.
have more agreement than
growth.
disagreement. And Governor Carney has been a great supporter of the commission and also of Stand By Me. And so we're still here, and he is continuing to look for new ways to help both to grow and expand. So, you know, we're grateful to the Carney administration as well.
And that's important to have
Yes.
that political support. It really is.
It is. It is. It absolutely is, because everything is political.
Yes.
No matter how you cut it, even if you don't want to think of it that way.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Definitely.
Yes.
Well, before we go, is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers in regards to just not only your organization, but making sure you come out to the Latino Summit?
We would just highly encourage everyone to register online. Registrations are currently open, and we would like you to come not only as an individual, but let your community know, let your network know, let your family know. This is a wonderful opportunity for you to really to begin to understand the beauty and nuances of our culture and our community.
That's right. And if you can't go, send someone else from your organization to go.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
we've built in a lot of time for networking, so people can meet each other, and you can meet the exhibitors, the speakers, and it's going to be a learning experience and a party.
Right. And for all those watching, remember, this is statewide. We're housing it at the Chase Center on the Riverfront, but this is all over Delaware that we're connected
And we
with.
have free transportation from southern Delaware.
Oh, can you talk a little bit about that before we go?
Yes,
That's
we
major.
have DART. The Delaware Department of Transportation is a major sponsor of the event, and they have donated free transportation from Georgetown all the way up to the conference center in Wilmington. So anybody who wants to come can go up to the website and get more information. And there's a phone number there that you can also give us a call, and we'll hook you up with free transportation.
I love that.
Round trip.
The Delaware Hispanic Commission making sure there's no excuses.
And thank you to Delta.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for your time today. This was great, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about Stand By Me as well and the Delaware Hispanic Commission. I look forward to going to the Latino Summit on October 30th.
We look
I'll be
forward to
looking
seeing
for
you.
Definitely. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you. And on behalf of all of us here at WITN 22, I'd like to say just thank you for watching, and I've been your host, Yesenia Taveras.